Hi everybody. So today I'm going to talk about divine passing, and this time I'm going to talk about when your pet passes from an accident, a traumatic accident. And so that can include getting hit by a car, it could include a botched surgery, it could include an animal attack, it could include a freak accident like they fall out of your arms. So all of that, I'm going to put it under an accident. And so if you're watching this and you haven't watched the other videos, this is the third one that I'm making. The first one is about the divine timing of when your pet passed. The second one is the divine timing of when your pet passed with euthanasia, and this is the divine timing of when your pet passed from an accident. And I also want to say, I'm going to say this with as most respect that I can, because I truly have so much empathy for those of you who have lost a pet due to an accident, because I am aware that that intensifies the grief, and that oftentimes when someone we love passes from an accident, it becomes a trauma. And when it becomes a trauma, then our brain can't forget it. It can't pack it away. Instead, our brain will replay it over and over again, because that's what happens with trauma. And if that's the case, then I highly recommend that you seek professional help from a licensed professional, such as a therapist, psychologist, and or you do a lot of somatic work to release that trauma from your body. So here we go. So what I believe is that regardless of how your pet passes, even if they pass from an accident, it is still within that window of divine timing. Your pet would have passed away during that time, whether it's from a freak accident, a botched surgery, a car accident, or whether they pass from cancer or they pass peacefully in their sleep. Either way, that time was agreed upon with the Creator, and your pet was aware that their passing was coming regardless. In fact, I truly believe that our pets choose how they're going to pass, even when it's an accident. And oftentimes pets will tell me they choose those quick accidental passings because they didn't want to burden their parents with a long drawn out disease, with the financial stress or emotional stress that comes along with that. And you might be thinking, but why would they choose something that extreme and that horrendous? You know what? I think we'll never know the answer when we're here on the earthly plane, and that will only make sense once you cross over onto the heavenly plane, where when we're on the heavenly plane, we have so much more clarity. It's like being on the top of the mountain, and when we're here on the earthly plane, we're just at the bottom of the mountain, so we can't see things or understand things clearly. So regardless of how your pet passed, even if it's an accident, it was still their time to pass within that window. I also want to reassure you that pets who do pass from a traumatic passing, when I speak to them, first of all, they don't usually like to even talk about their passing, but I ask them when their pet parents are in front of me wanting to find some closure. So then I'll ask your pet, and those pets sometimes will talk a little bit about it or don't give a lot of details because they don't want to re-traumatize their parents. But when they do say something, they always want me to tell their pet parents that they don't dwell on how they passed. That was just a moment in time in all the moments of their life. And what really counts is all the moments of their life. What really counts is all the happy experiences and love that they experienced. And if they experience love and happy memories, even if they pass traumatically, that doesn't matter to them. And I know it matters to you, and I know it's hurtful for you to witness and to know, but I want you to know for them, it's not traumatic. When pets tell me they are traumatized from their passing, it's when they lived a life of sadness and abuse and trauma. And then when they pass, they're traumatized from that life. But when pets live a life of love and joy and beautiful relationships, then when they pass, even when it's a traumatic passing, they are not traumatized once they cross over. In fact, it's like, I'm not going to think about that anymore. I did what I needed to do. And then they focus on the loving memories they have with you. And so that's what your pet wants you to know. Not to, please don't dwell on the accident. Please don't ruminate on, I could have or should have, or I hope, I wish. They don't want that for you. They actually chose that passing for whatever reason, and they are now at peace. And all they think about is the love you gave them and how much they love you still.